Hey 10th graders, welcome back to your second instructional video. Welcome to English 10, A Modern Classroom. Today we are going to be using the same objective from last time. Students will be able to define a modern classroom and how English 10 will work this year. So our main guiding question is, how will English 10 work this year? And just a reminder why we're using modern classroom. Because we don't want you to be this student who's really bored in class and who's not really getting anything out of the instruction. We also really do not want you to be this student who is really overwhelmed and doesn't know how to ask for help or doesn't know how to ask a question. So that is why we're using Modern Classroom, which, remember, is self-paced and a structure where you can get one-on-one support from me in class. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about in this video is the objectives calendar, which is going to be super important for you to know how to navigate Modern Classroom and our assignments. So at the start of every unit, I'm going to be giving you this objectives calendar, which is going to lay out all of the lessons in the unit and all of the target dates for when we want those lessons to be done. So you'll see over here is lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, and so on. And then next to that, you'll see this target date, which we talked a little bit about in the last video. The target date is kind of like a goal for when we want you to have that lesson done by. This category will be for skills and standards, so this just lists like the kind of English standards that we're covering in that lesson. The lesson objective is kind of like our guiding question or what we want you to be learning in this lesson. So like today's lesson objective is that you can define what a modern classroom is and how your English class will operate this year. One of the most important categories in this objective calendar is on the far right side here, which is our steps for each lesson. So you'll see listed step 1 is video with notes. So you already have completed that since you're watching this video, which is step number 2. So this step is video with notes again. And then you'll see that there's a step in purple with parentheses that says should do. And there's a step in green with parentheses that says aspire to do. So you might be wondering, what does it mean should do and aspire to do? And I'm going to explain that. So Modern Classroom has these different categories for assignments that are must do, should do, and aspire to do. And they're just like what they sound. So the must-do steps are the ones in bold. Step 1 and step 2 are must-dos. And that means that in order to move on to the next lesson, you have to do step 1 and step 2. The should do is something that you should be trying. You should be doing it. And the aspire to do step is like that extension. If you want more information, if you want to dig a little deeper, that is your aspire to do. So in order to get an A in this class, you have to do all of those steps. And you cannot get above a C in this class if you're only doing those must-do steps. So these are kind of ways to prioritize your work. If you do find yourself falling behind, it's okay to just focus on the must-dos in order to catch up. But we're going to talk a little bit more about how these impact your grades as we go forward. So speaking of grades, your mastery checks and your summative assessments are going to be scored using the IB and Myp rubrics and criteria. So you might have seen this in your other classes, but I just wanted to remind you or tell you what the criterion are for English class. So criterion A is for analyzing, criterion B is for organizing, criterion C is for producing text, and criterion D is for using language. And then you'll see that everything is going to be scored using a rubric of 0 to 8. So a 7 to 8 score is equal to an A, a 5 to 6 score is equal to a B, a 4 is equal to a C, and so on. So this is just to give you a heads up on how you'll be graded, but we can always break this down again when you get a specific grade back. If you have questions, just let me know. I know this is a lot of information. All right, so the mastery checks and the unit packets will contain must do, should do, and aspire to do assignments, which is what I was talking about before. Summative assessments will be worth most of your grade, but you cannot achieve higher than a C if you only complete your must-do assignments. And also to add on to this, the mastery checks and the summative assessments are always must-do assignments. So those things you have to do. All right, so this is just a chart explaining what I've been talking about on how you know what grades you'll get in this class. So like I said, to get an A, it means you showed mastery on all assignments for all units. So that means you did all the must-dos, you did all the should-dos, and all the aspire-to-dos. An A- is that you showed mastery on almost all assignments for all units. A B+ is showing mastery on all must-do and all should-do assignments and most of the aspire-to-do assignments. So maybe you didn't have time to try all of the aspire-to-do assignments, but you did most of them, and that'll get you up to a B+. A B is showing mastery on most must-do, should-do, and aspire-to-do assignments. A B- is showing mastery on most must-do and should-do assignments and showed mastery on some aspire-to-do assignments. So then you'll see what I was saying down here when you get into the C category. That is for showing mastery on all your must-do assignments, and maybe you tried some of the should-do and aspire-to-dos. That is when you're going to be in the C range. So I hope all of you are going for that A in this class, and if that's something you want to achieve, I'm really committed to helping you all succeed and get an A. So please let me know if you're trying to work towards that. We are going to achieve that together. Finally, I just wanted to go over my classroom expectations so we're all on the same page about how we're going to act as a community and how we're going to have a successful classroom environment. So my first and most important expectation is that we're treating ourselves and others with kindness and respect. I expect you to be kind and gracious to your classmates, to me, and to yourselves. An example of this is something that I find really important is that we all learn each other's names and our pronouns and that we're using those correctly. So for example, I use she, her pronouns, but my older sibling uses they, them pronouns. And so we really want to make an effort to learn each other's names and pronouns and be using those. And if you have any questions about that or how to do that, please let me know. I want us to be able to do that successfully. The second expectation is that you stay positive. This is all new to all of us. This is my first time using Modern Classroom. It's probably your first time as well. So let's stay positive and give each other a lot of grace in this process. I ask that you use your time efficiently. So that's going to take some, self-time management skills of putting your phone away during class, getting off texting or TikTok or whatever, and focusing on your work. If you have a question, please just ask me. I can't read your mind, so I don't know when you need help, but I'm really happy to help if you have questions. So please ask. And then finally, if you cause a problem, fix it. So if you spill something, clean it up. If you bump into someone, say sorry. Just let's be respectful to each other. All right, so English 10 has a clear plan on deadlines, grades, and expectations, so all of us can be successful. And again, if you have any questions on these, please let me know.